What is the soup du jour?
It's the soup of the day.
That sounds good. I'll have that.
So you got yourself a Vitamix. You spent all your hard-earned money or stimulus check on a blender. And now you're probably thinking, now what? In this video, we're gonna make one of the best cream of broccoli soups you've ever eaten. And we're starting now. Hi everyone, welcome back to Brian's Kitchen. I appreciate you stopping by. Today, we are making the best cream of broccoli soup I've ever made. It does have cheese in it, it's not vegan. This is the good stuff. And let me tell you, it is so easy to make in this machine. You may have a brand new machine or you may have an old classic one like I've got, which this is the Vitamix 5000. This is about 13 years old. And let me tell you, you're in good hands either way. Let's get into it. Okay, so the way I like to start is I like to start off with my liquid first. We are going to grab some 2% milk. We're gonna fill it up to the 2-cup mark right here. This is just 2% cow's milk. Use any milk you want. Optionally, you can put in some water and some skim milk powder to make the milky effect instead. Now, you might have noticed that I'm not peeling my garlic at all. This still got the skin on, and we're just gonna drop that right in there like so. And we got a celery here. 1 celery stalk in. Carrot. You've noticed I didn't even peel the carrot. I'm just chucking it in. Just gonna cut it up into some smaller pieces like this, maybe cut off the end because that's gross, and dump that in. What's very important with this machine is that you don't use a lot of one item. If you use a lot of one item, it's gonna taste mainly like that one item. So with onion and garlic, use very little of it. That way you don't get the overwhelming flavor of onion or garlic in your soup. Use a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it'll come tasting like a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Remember, these are all raw ingredients. We're not actually cooking them or boiling them. We're just heating them up so that they're hot and pleasurable to eat. So, onion. So you see what I did there? Small little bit of onion. That's it, little slice, and it goes. And then I'm done with the onion. Now we're gonna add some broccoli, and what I did is I pre-steamed some broccoli. Now you're probably thinking, just so you know, Brian, the demonstrator guy at Costco told me I could use raw broccoli, and you're using steamed broccoli, and I don't really know who to believe anymore. Yes, you can use raw broccoli, just I prefer steamed, so I steamed it ahead of time. It took me an extra 2 minutes, big deal. Now remember, with broccoli, again, strong flavor, so I threw in 1 broccoli stem. That's it, the rest is all right here, and I'm probably not even gonna use all this. I'm probably gonna use about maybe 3 or 4 florets after this to make the chunky part of the soup. This is just to flavor the soup like broccoli. We're also gonna put in a little bit of cheese. And with the cheese, I'm using, what you can see here, if you can see that, Parmigiano Reggiano, I don't know, I'm Polish. Parmigiano Reggiano, that's what I'm using, Parmesan cheese. The nice brick of it here. Am I gonna use a lot of cheese? No, I'm gonna use a slice of cheese. So, gonna use a nice little chunk, just like that, into the soup, give it a nice cheesy kind of flavor. Could you use cheddar cheese? Absolutely. I like Parmesan in mine. Sometimes I use Asiago. Whatever you want to use, put it in there, but just a little. Now, we're gonna throw in a dash of Mrs. Dash. Not too much. Just a dash, couple dashes there. And also we're gonna put in a handful of coleslaw. As you can see here, if you got just cabbage laying around the house, throw in some cabbage, but I've got this pre-made coleslaw here. So I'm gonna throw in a handful of that. Then I'm gonna throw in this. This is important. People don't understand how important this part is to a Vitamix soup. This is called a soup cube. It's called bouillon. This is going to give you your salty flavor. If you don't use this, your soup will taste like garbage. I guarantee it. Put in a soup cube. This is an organic beef cube. You can use veggie, chicken, whatever you want, but you have to have some sort of soup cube. And we're using the cube instead of broth because I've got milk as my broth right now. So we're using the cube for the salt. There we go, the whole cube goes in. If you want to cut down on the salt, use half a cube instead. Now this is really important. We're gonna throw in about a tablespoon or so of pearl barley. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, pearl barley. Now I use pearl barley instead of pot barley because pearl barley cooks faster instead of pot barley, but This is what I have in my house, so use what you have. Pot barley just means you'll have to cook it for a little bit longer, that's all. But all we're gonna do is throw in about a tablespoon of this stuff. Like that, and throw in about a tablespoon. And that is literally it. Let's throw it on the machine, high speed, 3 to 4 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. My milk was cold, so we're gonna put it on maybe 4 to 5 minutes until you start seeing steam escape from the lid. Okay, it's go time now. We're gonna start off the machine on low speed, on number 1 on the speed dial. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna increase it quickly up to number 10, and then up to high speed. 3 to 5 minutes, your soup's gonna be hot, and you're gonna notice all this steam coming out of the tapa. I don't know how I turned Italian like that, but that's what's gonna happen, okay? 3, 2, 1, go. Down to number 1. This is really important. I let that run for about 5 minutes. You noticed at the beginning, the soup was bouncing up and down quite a bit, but near the end, it started to really calm, and it wasn't bouncing around as much because the pearl barley made it thicker. Now what I want you to see here is I started off with cold milk, all cold ingredients. My broccoli was a little steamed, but it's still kind of cold. So look how hot that soup got. Isn't that freaking amazing? Oh, if you could smell the smell I'm smelling, that's a lot of smells. If you could smell the smell I'm smelling right now, you would be so hungry. Now right now, this is just a broth. If you want to eat it just like this, you can. However, I like my soup with a little bit of chunk in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in a few more of my broccoli florets, whole, just like this. Maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5. Depends on how chunky you want it. Then we're gonna switch it down to low speed. So, put it on like this. Make sure the lid's always on, rule number 1. We're gonna flip it down to low speed now. We're gonna turn the speed dial down to number 1, turn on the machine, and then flip it up to maybe about 3 or 4, just to chop it up. And you're gonna run the machine for only about 10 seconds, just to chop up the vegetables, because this acts like a food processor too. So start up on 1, turn it up. And that's enough for me. Let's get this thing served. Now I don't know about you, but I've been filming this and taking pictures of it. It's been sitting in front of me for about 15 minutes now. I'm hungry and I want to eat it. Let's give it a shot. Look how creamy that is. Like, look at, it's friggin' beautiful. I got double cheese in this. Oh yeah. You're welcome. Oh my goodness. Every little bit about this soup is amazing. Someone in the Vitamix Facebook group was asking if it can make thick soups. This, my friend, is one of the thickest soups, and it's awesome, all because of the pearl barley. The pearl barley made the difference, believe me. Well, that does it for me here, guys. Thank you so much for coming by the channel again, and I hope you really enjoyed this soup as much as I'm about to enjoy it. And if you like what you saw here today, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any other future videos, especially when it comes to the Vitamix. Hit that like button, share it with all your friends if you think they'll get value from it. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of the information that I provided you about this wonderful machine here. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.